so strong enough.
Hi everyone, happy Wednesday. Today I'm going to be making some sourdough bread. I knew nothing about sourdough bread other than the fact that I liked it. But I was I didn't know nothing. I mean, when I say I didn't know anything, I mean zero. My mother was one hell of a cook. A baker, she was not. So I was not raised with homemade bread. Every once in a while I would buy the frozen packages, that we all, you put in the glass things and, and it's perfect and all this, what it is. Well, I decided that I'm going to start making my own bread. I wanted to make a bread that I didn't have to add sugar to, because I think there's just too much. There's too much of that stuff in bread. So I'm going to take you step by step today because this is a process. It is. It seems like everything I do is a process. Like nothing is easy. Nothing I do is easy. But I'm going to start out with telling you, okay, I bought this itty bitty package of sourdough starter on Amazon. So I get this package in the mail and it's like that big, and I'm like, how does this turn into bread? I had no clue. So I kind of put it out there on my Facebook and said, I need help because I don't know what I'm doing. Well, a very good friend of mine, her name is Arminda, and she helped me through the process of this because it is a process. Because honestly, I looked at this package and I asked her, I said, how long until this becomes bread? And she said never. And I'm like, what? So that's how clueless I was. But then, she took me through the steps, and that's what I'm going to do for you today. So you're going to get this little bitty package in the mail, like I did. If you order it, you can start it by yourself, like on your counter, up on top of your fridge or in that. But I didn't do it that way, so I can't tell you how to do it that way. So because I bought my starter, and I've had it now for like, I don't know, 2-3 months, something like that. So the first thing you're going to do, like I said, is you're going to buy a little package of starter like I did, if you choose. And what I did was I put it in a glass container that latches. And I kept it in my bathroom up on the shelf inside the linen closet because that's where it's warm. And every day I would feed it 1 tablespoon of bread flour, and 1 tablespoon of distilled water. And pretty soon this was getting full, and then I had to move it to a different container because that was getting full, and then it was growing and growing and growing. And so I decided that I was going to put it in the refrigerator to slow the growing down. You still have to feed it, but it doesn't grow as fast. So this is what I keep it in my fridge. Now, this is that itty bitty packet that I bought. This right here, all of this. And so I will put this back in the fridge, and I'll feed it maybe twice a week. Now that it's bigger like this though, I will probably feed it like 1/4 of bread flour and 1/4 of distilled water. Whatever you're feeding it, it has to be equal parts. So if you're going to feed it 1 tablespoon of bread flour, make sure you water it with 1 tablespoon of distilled water. I use distilled water. I'm not sure why, but that's just what I was taught, so that's what I'm using. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put this stuff away, and I'll be right back. I'm going to move the other stuff over here, and then I'll show you how to get started making this bread. Because I am still so new to this process, I have my cheat sheets here. I have a hard time with measuring and weighing with grams and kilograms and that kind of thing. So what I did was I went and I broke it down into what I could understand, which is, tablespoons and measuring cups. First, you're going to add your 3/4 cup of sourdough starter, and then you're going to add your 2.5 cups of water. Now, because I don't have one of those, what do you call it? One of those big fancy scraper thingies. I don't have one of those. But what I do have is that the end of one of these scrapers fell off, and so I kept it, and that's what I'm going to use. And then you're just going to kind of just move it around in there and get it mixed up in with the water. This might take a couple of minutes. And now you're going to take 1 tablespoon of salt. We're going to mix that around a little bit. And then 5 1/4 cups of bread flour. And now you're just going to cut this into this until it roughly becomes a dough. It's not going to be perfect, and it doesn't have to be, because this has got a ways to go yet before it's even bread. So you're just going to cut this in until it soaks up all the liquid. This might take a few minutes. Once you roughly get this into some kind of a dough, you know, like this, then it's going to be pretty sticky. But once you get it in there like that, and it's just kind of sitting there, and you know, it's not really a ball yet or anything, just leave it in there right in the bowl. And then you're going to lightly spray it with some water. Now for this, I just use tap water. You could use your distilled water if you want to, but for me, I just use the tap water. Just lightly spray the top of it. And let it sit and rest for 30 minutes. I moved my camera a little bit so you can see what I'm doing here. It's been 30 minutes and this has been resting for a little bit, and it is quite tacky, quite, you know, sticky. And I'm just going to spray the countertop here a little bit. And my hands. Get them wet so it doesn't stick to the dough. And then I'm going to take this and I'm just going to fold it out onto the counter like this. Scrape it out onto the counter. And I'm just gonna lightly press down on it like that. Don't get real aggressive with it. And you're gonna fold this at least 12 times. Now you can fold it whatever way you want to. I'm not an expert at it, but it does work for me. I suggest that you fold it whatever way it works for you. So my first fold is gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, I've got 12 folds in now. And now I'm going to set this back in the bowl, in its bowl. And I'm going to let it sit here for 2 hours. It's going to sit. It's going to sit. You just give it a little bit more water. And you're going to cover it this time. For 2 hours, you're going to let it sit like that. So go run an errand, go do whatever you got to do, but this is where we're going to be hanging out for the next 2 hours. All right, it has been 2 hours, and I just uncovered my bowl, and this is our dough now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to spray the counter down. Maybe put a cup on top, and then I'm going to spray my hands too. Spray your hands again. And we're just going to tip this out of the bowl, kind of like what we did before. now we're going to fold this 5 times. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Now we're going to go right back into the bowl for another 2 hours. This is a process. This is a marathon, not a sprint. Okay, we are at our 3rd fold. It's been 2 hours again. Just gonna spray the counter. Bring it out of the bowl again. Spray my hands. We're going to fold it again 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now this time we're going to let it rest for only 1 hour. We're going to put it back in the bowl, give it a little more water, cover it, and now we're going to leave it sit for 1 hour. And then we'll go from there. I'll show you what to do from there. Okay, so it's been 1 more hour and we've been sitting in here. Now it is time to take out the dough again, but instead of water this time, we're going to use a little bit of flour. I'll dust this up a little bit because now we're going to fold this and shape it into our dough, or I'm sorry, our bread loaf. Okay, just going to take a little bit of flour, put it on top there, and dust my hands a little bit. Now we're going to fold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Now see, I'm okay with it being a little oblong or not perfectly whatever, you know, I'm okay with that. And now I don't have one of those, I don't even know what you call it, one of those big stainless steel cutter things. I just use my little paring knife here, and we're going to cut this in half now, because this is a recipe for 2 loaves. And what I don't have is those fancy bread basket things. I don't have those. What I did was I went to Goodwill and I bought 2 regular baskets. Just normal, regular baskets. And I'm going to put a terry cloth. Now the terry cloth I bought at Family Dollar. I believe it was $5 for 3 of them. So I bought a couple of packages. And I'm just gonna put my towel inside of my baskets here. And we'll move those out of the way because that one will be done in a minute. Just a little bit more flour. And now you're gonna shape it. You're going to shape the way that you want it to look. I think this is going to probably be kind of a small loaf because this one's going to be bigger. But that's okay. Little loaves are fine too. And I'm just going to shape it. I like round loaves. So I turn it until it gets round. And then I'm going to place it, put a little bit of flour in the basket so that it doesn't stick to the towel. I'm going to gently just place it in there, just like that. And now I'm going to get this one done. Put a little more flour down. Like I said, I've only been doing this a couple of months, but I mean, I'm getting better at it, you know. I mean, I'm still new to it, but that's okay. Okay. I mean, and it might take the shape of the basket, which is okay. I mean, I don't mind that at all either. Just sprinkle a little bit of flour inside of it, so again, it doesn't stick to the towel. And now we're going to leave these one more hour like this, but we're not going to leave them exposed like this. We're going to cover them with a couple of cloths for 1 hour. And then we will be back again and I'll show you what to do. Okay, it has been 1 more hour. Now I'm going to take these off and uncover them. We're going to put these just like this in the refrigerator overnight. We're not going to cover them. We're just going to leave them as they are. And the first thing I'm going to do when I get up in the morning, I'm going to put this in my oven. And I will see you in the morning and we will go from there. We're almost done. We're almost there. Hang with me. So I just got up a few minutes ago and it's time for me to get my bread in the oven. But first, I'm going to take my big cast iron griddle here and I'm going to put it in the oven and I'm going to get it really hot. I'm going to put it in the oven at 445 degrees. And I'm going to get this really hot. And then as soon as my oven goes off, I'm going to place my bread on it. And then I'm going to bake that for 15 minutes. But I'm also going to be putting a roaster in the bottom of my oven below it. And I'm going to be taking a hot kettle of water so that it can steam the bread as it's cooking. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to get this in the oven and then I'll take you with me through that process. Now I don't have one of those razor blade deals where that's how they cut them with the razor blade, but I have found that a very good sharp paring knife will do the same thing. And I'm just going to go kind of this way a little bit. And then I'm going to go down the middle, not real deep, like that. And now I'm going to flip it out in my hand and just dust it off a little bit. And now I'm going to go and I'm going to put this in the oven on my griddle, like that. Now this, I'm going to put some very hot water in it. I'm not exactly sure why this is a must, but it is. And now we're going to bake that at 445 for 15 minutes and then I'll be right back. Okay, our bread is done. I'm going to get it out of the oven, and how I remove it from the cast iron griddle is I just scoop it underneath it because it's a small enough loaf, and then I'm just going to put it on my everything board and then let it cool down, and then it's ready to eat or be frozen. Now when it comes to the griddle or something like that, you'll see a lot of people, they have what they call it a stone, like a baking stone or a pizza stone or something. I'm sure you've heard of them. But I don't have that, so I just use my cast iron griddle, and that gets just as hot as any stone. You can use a pan, a larger cast iron pan to do these in too. And that can actually help even form it if you wanted it perfectly round instead of oblong or, you know, a little bit, you know, kind of wonky looking. To me, it doesn't matter, but to somebody else it might. So I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna get this out of the oven and set it right here. And there is our sourdough bread. It's got that classic, very hard shell on the outside, but on the inside it's going to be light and fluffy and delicious. Everyone that I have gifted this to, all the guinea pigs, or I mean my family members and friends, have said that it's great. So we'll let this cool down, and then I'm going to cut it in half and show you what it looks like on the inside. Now I'm just going to take it, I'm going to cut it in half. We'll see what it looks like on the inside. Perfect. Nice and light and airy and fluffy. Perfect for toast, perfect for anything. Absolutely perfect for anything. I gotta go get my other one in the oven now. I normally would make them both at the same time, but I just wanted to not have to deal with two of them while I was doing a video. But here they are, they're still steaming and everything. I think I'm gonna have some toast and jam. Every year I make raspberry jam from my patch. I'm gonna go ahead and open this because it's a fresh jar. And I'm just gonna scoop out some of my preserves. A little mix. A little bit on there. Best breakfast in the world. I love toast and jam. Here we go. I'm gonna take a bite. Outside's nice and crispy. Jam is phenomenal. It's so good. I mean, I know and I realize that it takes a little time to make, but I'm telling you, it is so worth it. It is so worth it. I don't think I'm going to need much more than this for breakfast today. It's absolutely delicious. Homemade jam with homemade bread. You can't beat it. Well, I suppose it's time for me to go get dressed and be a productive member of society. I suggest you make this. It's absolutely delicious. Go make your own bread.